Hey everybody, it's David Henry, and we're going to continue here our Beginning with Onyx series on YouTube. So, if you've been following along, we've gone through all the basics to get you up and running with Onyx, except for effects. And so, in this video, we want to dive into the effects, show you how to build your first effects, show you how they work, and then show you some more resources where you can learn more about effects as well. So, in this video, I'm going to go over effects for intensity, color, things like that that aren't actual movement like pan and tilt. We'll cover that in the next video. So, first thing we got to do, we've just loaded this demo show. So we'll go to the groups and preset windows, select some lights. Let's work with the Artista Da Vinci's here. We'll go ahead and we'll build an intensity effect first. So I'm going to go ahead and pop up my parameter view here. And there's a few things we can see right away. First, we've got intensity. And we can set a base point here, or we can use the base point of wherever it is inside the console, which right now is at 0. For this example, I'm going to set it at a base point of center, or 50%. We can see that happen now in the visualizer. I'm just going to zoom in on capture a little bit. You can do that using your scroll wheel. Awesome. So now I'm going to go ahead here and click over to effects. So in Onyx, you've got your base parameters here, and on the other side, there's effects, effects timing, fanning, grouping, rate. So basically, the base parameters are the things your light can actually do. And then this other side is the way we can manipulate those things within the console. So we click on effects and we see here at the top, swing on intensity. So that means we're working with intensity right now, and swing is the currently selected effects parameter. We've got swing, speed, mode, and multiplier. So swing, we'll dial that guy up to 100%. Now, it's not moving, the effect isn't going because we haven't set a speed. So swing is how far off of the base point the effect is going to take itself. And now we'll do speed. So dial that in. Often I think 45% is a good place to be. And we can see it happening in capture. Now we'll go ahead, set a mode. I'm going to leave it where it is, but this is the curve that the effect is going to follow. We can see here that the black line is the base point. And so this curve goes above and below the base point, which is perfect because we're centered. As we can see here, I'm going to zoom in a little on this too. This is the waveform of the effect. It starts in the middle and it goes all the way up to 100 and all the way down to 0 because the swing is set to 100%. Last, we've got multiplier. Especially when you're working with LEDs, you can use multiplier just to multiply the speed of the effect. So times 2 would double the speed, etc. And you can go really, really fast if you need to. But I'm going to leave that down at the default. Once you get the effect dialed in the way you like it, we need to set an offset. We need to make it so all the fixtures don't do the effect at the same exact time. To do that, let's go over to effects timing. So here we're able to set a wave or step per X. First I'll set wave. Say I set that to 10, the total amount of fixtures. I can now see on my visualizer window that the effect happens across these 10 fixtures. Okay, so it takes that waveform, that mode that we've set, and it spreads it across the 10 fixtures. And so what we're going to do now is change that. So if we do it to 5 per se, now the effect is going to happen twice because it happens every 5 fixtures and then it restarts. Similarly, 3, we see it happening time and time again. 2, it happens every other fixture. Let's try step for a second. So we'll turn off wave and go to step. Now we can go ahead and set it to 2. And it looks a lot like a wave of 2, but it's a little bit different. Let's set it to 4 or 5. Let's set it to 5. Now we can see the difference in wave and step. Whereas wave takes the effect form and spreads it across all of the fixtures, step says, okay, each fixture is going to do this effect and then it's going to move on to the next one. So there's 5 steps per se that the effect takes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it's made it through all the fixtures. So these are 2 different ways of looking at things. And a lot of the times I like to use wave, but sometimes step comes in handy. So let me put that back to wave. Perfect. Awesome. So now we're going to go ahead and save our effect. Now, this works just like saving any other cue or anything like that. We just pop up our commands keypad, Then we're going to go ahead. I'll bring it into view here. Press record and press where we want to put the effect. Now, when I'm working with effects, I want to do them on override type faders generally. I like to make them as an override because in a regular cue list, though you can put effects there, you're not able to fade them up and down as you bring the fader up and down. And so for a lot of times running lights on the fly, override's going to be better. You can put them in a regular cue list, and that's great if you want it to repeat and look exactly the same every time. Experiment with these and figure out what works best for you. So I'm just going to call this intensity effects, make it an override by clicking on the override key. Boom. And now we've saved it. If we press clear twice to clear our programmer, we can then go ahead, we can bring up our fader here, and we see the effect exactly how we made it. Now, some of the power of overrides is that we can literally take this, say we take it down to 50%. Now the effect has half the size, half the bass, half the speed, half everything that we programmed onto it. And so we're able to create a variety of different looks, especially when we work with different faders as we bring it up and down. So I'm just going to bring that down a second and build a quick color effect. I'm actually going to go ahead and move this to our next bank so we have a little room to work. So I'm going to go move, just like moving a group or a preset. Press what I want to move. Click here to go to a separate bank. And press where I want it to go. It's that simple. Awesome. So now I'm going to grab those same units. Now I'm going to go to color. Bring cyan to full and work with magenta. I'm actually going to go ahead and go back a bank and bring up the intensity so I can see what's going on as I work with this. Perfect. Back to where I was. And now we'll go back to effects. Again, swing, speed, mode, and multiplier. This time we'll do a swing of, let's do it at maximum, over 250%. Then dial in a speed. What we can see here, this is kind of a cyan to blue look. And we can see here that basically the effect comes in, it comes to full, and then it hangs there for a minute. And it does the same at the bottom. And the reason it does that, I'll speed it up just a little, is because it's literally overexerting itself further than the effect can actually do. And then it makes it, when it makes it back into the doable range, it fades again. So you can overexert effects by using a really high swing value, and it gives you kind of a cool pause in the effect. Let's switch modes. Just do a nice hard mode right here. Set some effects timing. Let's use step this time. Do a step of 3. Awesome. You can also go in here with the grouping, and you can do a lot of things with the grouping tools, which is also here in the wave and step effects timing window. And so that's a really powerful function as well that I don't really have time to go into in this video, but I'm going to have some bonus videos and also some videos inside of Learn Stage Lighting Labs that show you how to do this. So I'm going to go ahead now and record this. Just press the fader, type the name, and now I can press enter because override was the last type that I used. Perfect. Now we're going to go ahead, clear this out, go back to bank 1 and turn off that intensity, and play these two effects together. So first I've got this intensity effect. I'll bring that up. Again, I'm just double clicking to bring up this fader, or if you've got actual Onyx hardware in front of you, you can do that, but I've not purposefully not put any hardware in front of me for these videos so that you can follow along even if you're just on the PC. And now I can bring these two effects together and start to see things going on here. Now that I have these two effects, I can manipulate them by bringing them up, bringing them down, using different amounts of them to get different effects at different times during my show. For example, if I go to the 2D plan here, we can actually see things a little bit better. Go here to this first one, the top view, and zoom in a little. And we can see our different effects running here. We can bring our color up to full. We can bring our intensity up to full. We could bring our intensity down. Maybe we turn off our color and just use our intensity. And so like any effects we're creating, obviously this isn't a full look right now, but we can combine it with other static cues and other effects to really make some interesting and dynamic looks during your show. So like I mentioned earlier in the video, I've got some bonus videos, some stuff that's actually from inside Learn Stage Lighting Labs, from the action plans that I've created around Onyx, and I want to go deeper into effects with you. So follow the link here and go to the page where you can enter your email and be able to get these resources. I want to get these videos to you so that you can have the best training possible and also teach you a little bit more about what's inside Learn Stage Lighting Labs. So in our next video, as I mentioned, we're going to talk about pan and tilt effects and how to use them inside of Onyx. I'll see you guys there. Thanks.